Yes, Destiny. You say that the Biden administration has done nothing to meddle with the DOJ. He has literally pardoned his son, who's been convicted of criminal offenses. That is.
Why did you just say bingo? What do you think a pardon is? How is a pardon meddling in the DOJ?
You don't think it's meddling with justice?
Because the DOJ and the judge even said yesterday that this was the most despicable abuse of power. Go listen to what the judge said, who's not a conservative judge, who wrote a scathing rebuke of the Biden administration's abuse of power after there had been a conviction for his son. Go read what the judge wrote, and you might understand.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
do you think that when does a pardon happen if not after a conviction? What do you think a pardon is for?
Oh boy, here we go again. Destiny, the self-proclaimed woke streamer, decided to take another shot at Piers Morgan uncensored. And surprise, surprise, he got roasted. Like full-on barbecue mode. Absolute humiliation on display, folks. And the best part? The aftermath. Yep, he spirals into one of those classic Destiny meltdowns. Pure gold. All right, let's roll the clip. Whenever Destiny steps into the Piers Morgan ring, it's not just an interview, it's a spectacle. Grab your popcorn, because this one's no different. Watch as Destiny gets absolutely obliterated on live TV and goes completely unhinged when he's called out. Buckle up, it's about to get messy.
Yeah, it seems to me that the Democrats, liberals generally, have gone into a weird kind of collective anaphylactic shock, which has now been massively exacerbated by what Biden's done. Because the truth is they cannot handle the fact that this guy they spent all year calling a fascist, a Nazi, the new Hitler, the biggest bigot in the world, blah, 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 has won literally across the board everything. It's sent them all slightly nuts. And people like me who basically are in the middle, I'm a kind of centrist, slightly liberal guy, right? I'm not a Trump dingleberry. I've just warned the liberals for years this was going to happen. And now it's happened. They want to blame me. And I'm like, I did try and tell you.
Right. I mean, if you look at the Trump victory overall, there's a wide range of why he lost, from woke culture to racism, misogyny. I mean, it runs the gamut. But what's really interesting about this this pardon is what Biden is saying in the pardon versus what Democrats who are supporting Biden and protecting Biden or making excuses for him are two entirely different things. Biden is saying that what Trump has said for years is true, that there is politicization inside the Justice Department. And that is a damning account, because politicization of the Justice Department was completely a partisan issue. Democrats for 4 years said it wasn't happening. Republicans said it was happening. And here's the Democratic president saying, no, it happened, but it happened against my son. I think that the scope, I don't listen, if he would have said, I love my son, it's my only surviving child from my first marriage, I honestly don't know many Americans who would disagree with him. I would feel sympathy for it, but that's not what he said. And the scope and the length into which he has given this pardon, 11 years for everything. It is a full pardon for anything. It draws the question, what else was he doing? There was $24 million from foreign countries, including adversaries, through 20 shell companies. There's probably more. There was the issues of Hunter receiving millions of dollars in free legal services, in representation. There were probably appointments.
All right, let's break this down, because wow, there's a lot to unpack here. So, the DOJ being weaponized against political opponents? Oh yeah, that's a thing. And no, I don't even think Joe Biden was the brains behind it. Let's be real. Biden masterminding anything? Come on. If anything, it was probably Jill running the show. And speaking of Jill, she's probably the one who went ahead and pardoned Hunter too. Family loyalty, right? But back to the DOJ. They went all in trying to take down Donald Trump, and guess what? It didn't work. Why? Because the American people saw right through it. They overwhelmingly backed Trump over Kamala, who, let's face it, wasn't exactly inspiring confidence in her corner. So yeah, the Democrats weaponized the DOJ, plain and simple. Now, here's the kicker. The Dems have been screaming about how Trump's going to weaponize the DOJ and overthrow democracy if he gets back in office. Projection much? They were busy doing exactly that the whole time. And even after Trump won, they just kept doubling down. Oh, and the Hunter Biden pardon? Yeah, I've said it before. If it were my kid, I'd probably do the same thing. Don't pretend you wouldn't. That doesn't make it right for the country. Letting a criminal walk free isn't exactly the best move. But let's be honest, the Bidens aren't exactly playing by the rule book here. Bottom line, the Democrats tried to jail their opponent, weaponize the DOJ, and then had the audacity to accuse Trump of what they were doing all along. Classic case of they told on themselves, and now it's all out in the open. Wild times, folks.
And where does it end?
Okay, Destiny, here's the problem. Not a problem.
I'm just curious. Because I don't know all the time. Do the people who cover politics, are these like actual news people? Like, what is the background here on this show?
What's your point?
When you have people talking about, like, the Democrats have never said.
Just go look at his laptop. He gave you all the info. Hunter's laptop tells you the story. You don't have to be a journalist to listen to anything.
Where are the charges? Hey, where are the charges? Ben, where are the charges? They've been investigating Hunter Biden for 4 years. Where are the charges? I thought we were going to get impeachment charges from Jim Jordan. Where are the charges for Hunter Biden?
It's a great question. I can answer that because I actually read it.
The scope into which they looked into Hunter Biden was very narrow.
The DOJ made sure that the statute of limitations on the worst crimes that dealt with the tax issues were outside the statute of limitations. So if you go talk to a lawyer, they'll explain what that means to you. But the DOJ slow played this investigation into Hunter. No, you asked the question. You asked the question. You said, where are the journalists?
You just made
I'm answering the question.
Like FARA violations. You're telling me the FARA violations of him illegally accepting foreign money, of him taking bribes and having money go.
He never registered.
Don't talk over each other, please.
I'm going to finish it again. He never registers a foreign agent, and the statute of limitations that ran out on that for what was going on. He never dealt with the tax issues and didn't have to because we know deliberately that they purposely slow played to make sure that the worst crimes were going, and the DOJ did this. The timeline is clear. They would expire, so they couldn't charge him with those crimes. The reality is the reason why the Biden administration is now having to go back and say who else needs a damn pardon is because there was people abusing their power to make sure that the only two crimes that they charged Hunter Biden with could not be connected to the big guy. The gun charge didn't connect the big guy to any actual crime. And that's a fact. And the tax charges where they did charge him dealt outside of any of the money coming in from the money laundering. So the Department of Justice ran interference and said, we'll make sure we investigate this. Oh, crap. The statute of limitations ran out. Even if we wanted to charge him, we couldn't charge him with the crimes. And that's why the White House is saying, holy crap, who the hell needs another pardon here? It's that simple.
Okay.
And go read the laptop.
Easy question for you then, right? So the reason why Mueller was appointed was because an actual obstruction of justice was Donald Trump firing Comey to try to stop the investigation into his illegal activity.
You have the right
to
fire who you want to fire when you become the president. You should have fired him day one.
What was the equivalent action on the White House and their influence on the DOJ? Give me the equivalent action. Where is the intrusion of Biden into the DOJ?
All right, I'll answer the question simply. If you understand presidential powers, you would understand that you serve at the pleasure of the president, and the president had the right to fire James Comey whenever he wanted to.
Wait, hold on. Am I losing it? Or wasn't it Joe Biden who ordered the raid on Mar-a-Lago? Like, didn't he straight up give the green light for the FBI to storm the place? And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he even brag about it later? Maybe I'm tripping here, but that seems like a pretty big flex of DOJ power, no? And let's not forget the Trump indictments. Like, seriously, how is that not weaponizing your political power? Going after your biggest political opponent with the full force of the DOJ? That's a whole new level of political chess. And by chess, I mean flipping the board when you're losing. Honestly, it's wild to me how this is somehow flying under the radar. They're out here accusing Trump of destroying democracy, but Biden's team is over here swinging the DOJ hammer like it's a game of political whack-a-mole. Someone tell me I'm not misremembering this, because if I am, wow, what a plot twist. But if I'm not, I hope someone calls it out, because this is getting ridiculous.
Day one, but he went against his advisors when he did that. James Comey, by the way, laughed on TV about sending in FBI agents because the Trump administration was too trusting, too new, and too green to Washington to go after General Flynn to try to get dirt on Donald Trump.
So you have
he
nothing.
laughed
You're
about
lying.
it on stage.
You have nothing. Flynn lied to the FBI.
On stage.
That's
the guy that you want to defend
Donald
right now?
Trump's
Are you kidding
meddling
me?
in the DOJ. There is no equivalent to that on the Biden White House, which is why what you just said was a bunch of nonsense.
Then why are they talking about giving pardons out to so many people? Answer me this question.
Hang on. Answer this question then. Hang on. Destiny. You say that the Biden administration has done nothing to meddle with the DOJ. He has literally pardoned his son, who's been convicted of criminal offenses. That is.
Why did you just say bingo? What do you think a pardon is? How is a pardon meddling in the DOJ?
You don't think it's meddling with justice?
Because the DOJ and the judge even said yesterday that this was the most despicable abuse of power. Go listen to what the judge said, who's not a conservative judge, who wrote a scathing rebuke of the Biden administration's abuse of power after there had been a conviction for his son. Go read what the judge wrote, and you might understand.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
do you think that when does a pardon happen if not after a conviction? What do you think a pardon is for? Is every single pardon?
That wasn't my point. My point, Destiny.
Please, let me say this. If this is the part where you need to listen to what you're saying. No, listen to what you're saying. You just said that you only give a pardon when someone's been convicted. If that was true, they wouldn't have just given a 10-year absolute pardon to Hunter Biden for a bunch of crimes he committed in case he is actually investigated for the damn crime.
The whole point of issuing that pardon is to make it so that you guys can't spend the next 4 years playing Hillary's emails with Hunter Biden. That's the whole point. Because that's what you guys do. Like you tried with Hillary, like you tried with Benghazi.
All right, let's dissect this mess, because Destiny's take here is something else. So even if the Republicans did what he's suggesting, like playing Hillary's emails with Hunter Biden, what's the end game? Seriously, what would they even gain? Hunter isn't running for president, and let's be real, Joe probably isn't either. That family's political career is toast. Embarrassment level. Critical. And come on, the idea that Republicans would go after Hunter for anything other than justice? It's laughable. They're not plotting some 4D chess move to take down a political opponent, because the Bidens aren't even in the game anymore. If they're going after Hunter, it's because the dude allegedly broke the law. End of story. The pardon, though? Oh, that was chef's kiss pure damage control. Everyone with a working brain cell can see it. They knew Hunter was in deep, and they couldn't let him take the fall because, let's face it, it would have torched what little credibility the Biden name had left. So what do? Pull the family first card and sweep it under the rug. But no, the brainwashed cult Destiny's riding with can't seem to connect the dots. To the rest of us, crystal clear. The pardon wasn't about justice. It was about saving face. Plain and simple.
Over and over and over again with all these bullshit investigations. You do like you've done now with Hunter Biden.
Destiny,
like you did with Penn Star and Bill Clinton.
Destiny, hang on.
Hunter Biden bullshit now.
Hang on. Destiny, to be clear, Destiny,
in the House, they're going to bring in
Destiny,
charges to Joe Biden and has nothing. But here you
Destiny,
are still speaking
calm down.
The same lies about the Biden crime family.
Destiny,
what did I lie
hang
about?
on, please. Can I get involved here? Destiny, I've got a question for you, which is Gavin Newsom, who was one of the most vocal supporters of Biden, even when everyone else was chucking him under a bus. Even he has come out and said he cannot support this decision. Do you actually support what Biden has done? Do you support it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Wow. So actually, in the end, you do support lying, hypocrisy, and shamelessness, and obstructing justice. You support all those things.
No. What the pardon of Hunter Biden is a trillionth of what Donald Trump. It's not even close.
And if Trump had done this, to Donald Trump Jr., you'd have said the complete opposite. Anyway, look, let me segue to
in Donald Trump's administration, after the traitors, over here that support Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government in 2020. After they tried to overthrow the government and failed, people like Eastman and Giuliani were asking to be put on the pardon list.
All right.
Okay.
They were
involved in the J6 attack. And guess what? When he does, Piers, you're going to have a 20-minute segment on it, and you're going to move on to see if you can dig up something else about the Bidens or Kamala Harris.
No, I will go after.
All right, let's pause for a second. If you're loving this content and want more spicy takes served fresh, do me a favor. Smash that like button like the DOJ smashing into Mar-a-Lago. And don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out more than Hunter Biden's pardon helped him dodge accountability. Here's a fun question for the comments. Who do you think has the messiest family drama? Biden, Trump, or the entire cast of Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Let me know below. Now, let's dive back into the chaos.
You guys are all just jealous that he's massively endowed, and so is his
Sorry,
dad.
hang on.
Anybody else.
Francesca, sorry, what was that?
I was just saying, I mean, The only crime, I guess, in Ben's eyes that Hunter Biden really committed was showing just how well endowed the Biden family is. And I can see from Ben's perspective how that, might feel like, a crime against him and his
defending a man that abused women, as a woman, you should at least understand that there were women that were abused sexually.
Women? I don't think so.
I would say yes.
Were they 17 and trafficked over state lines? No.
When you're trafficking women and getting them addicted to drugs, that's abusing women. If you want to say that that's good, that's on you.
Look, here's the difference between the pardons between Trump and Joe Biden, right? Number one, Joe does this to troll y'all, and so you have something to talk about. But number two, the people that Donald Trump pardoned not only included everyone who allowed and helped him to back channel with the Russian government in the 2016 campaign, like Paul Manafort, like Roger Stone.
We're back to Russia collusion.
They didn't even get in trouble.
Are we really back to Russia collusion? One of the great,
because
we're back to Russia collusion, which was one of the great lies
Jared Kushner's father, Charles Kushner. Charles Kushner is now going to be the ambassador to France. He also pardoned the Blackwater
this is why we won,
employees who murdered 14 unarmed Iraqi civilians that we know about thanks to Chelsea Manning whistleblowing, right, and to WikiLeaks. He pardoned those monsters. He's pardoned a lot of people, and so those people arguably have had more impact on my life than Hunter Biden and his laptop and $1.4 million in tax.
All right, let's talk about this because it's wild. So, Donald Trump hasn't had to pardon his kids. Crazy concept, right? It's almost like brace yourself. He raised them well enough not to need one. I know, shocking. It's not just politics at this point, it's parenting 101. Trump's got a whole squad of kids and grandkids, and guess what? 0 pardons needed. That speaks volumes. Now compare that to Biden. Pardoning your child is one thing, but needing to? That's on a whole different level. And it doesn't just reflect on Joe. It's a reflection of the whole Biden family dynamic. I'm not saying every person who gets pardoned has bad parents. Sometimes people genuinely get a raw deal from the justice system, and a pardon is justified. Happens all the time. But let's be clear, that's not what happened here. Hunter wasn't some victim of the system. If anything, he got VIP treatment. And even after that, his actions were so shady, he still needed a pardon. Think about how bad your behavior has to be for that to happen, even with the justice system rolling out the red carpet for you. But hey, let me know what you think. Destiny and Francesca Fantini getting torched on live TV, with Piers Morgan leading the charge. It's a sight to behold. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think came out on top in this Destiny versus the panel showdown?